Hey guys, it's Poppy, and I'm here with part 2 of my top 10 book series. Okay, so this countdown is in no particular order, but I will note that this is part 2 of this countdown. So if you have not seen part 1, which includes books 1 through 6, you want to go ahead and click on the link that's going to pop up on your screen right now and check that out first. Okay, so let's get to part 2. The first book I'm going to talk about is the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series by Rick Riordan. So the series is about a young boy named Percy Jackson, of course, who finds out that the father that he never knew is actually a Greek god. So Percy finds out he's half human, half Greek god. There's adventure, there's a little, teeny bopper romance going on. It's all really, really good. This book, I think, would be considered middle grade, and really is kind of the first middle grade that I've read that I can remember. But wow, if this is middle grade, then bring on the middle grade, because this book is just good. And I think this is a great example of the fact that if you write a good book, it doesn't matter what genre it is, people are going to find it. If it's a good book, it's a good book. Okay, so these last 3 books are really why there are 2 of these videos instead of just 1, because I could talk about them forever, so I'm going to do my best to keep it short. Okay, so the first book I'm going to mention is the Indepth Series by J.D. Robb. Just a quick note, J.D. Robb is actually a pen name for the romance writer Nora Roberts. So Nora Roberts, who's a hugely famous romance writer, decided in the 90s that she wanted to write some mysteries and decided to write them under a different name. And I love the fact that for years nobody knew that these books were written by Nora Roberts. The Indepth series is about a character named Eve Dallas, who's a police detective. They're set in the future in New York, and they're just really good. They're really gritty, really good mysteries. The thing I love about this series is, 1, it's really a long series. So there are at least 40 books in this series so far. I feel like J.D. Robb does such a good job of combining character development along with whatever the story is in the current book. So each book is about whatever case that Eve is working on at the time, but at the same time in each book she really does a great job of developing the characters and of moving them forward. And I'm a fan of long series, especially if it's a character that I really, really love. I love sticking around and seeing what's happening in their life, how they're growing, how they're developing. And I think as a writer that's got to be harder than writing a short series, because I mean, how do you keep something going for 40 books and keep it fresh? I mean, that's tough. But if you like getting invested in a good, long, gritty, cop drama type of series, this is the series for you. Let's talk about the next series. If I was putting these books in order, which I tried to do, but it was really, really hard for me to do, the only one that was really easy was my number 1. And that is the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. I just love these books, you guys. And I know I'm not alone. So many of you guys love them as well, because they're just really, really good. So I'm not even going to waste my time telling you what these books are about, because I'm sure that you know. Let me just tell you why I love this series. I love the fact that you look at these 7 books and you can totally get that when she sat down to write book 1, she knew what was going to happen in book 7. So it's like you see this kind of thread of continuity that goes through each of the books, and I absolutely love that. I also think that Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows is one of the best series ending books ever. And just imagine the amount of pressure that she's under as well as a writer to come up with a book that is, going to satisfy everyone, but also going to surprise people, because we all remember what it was like in between books. It was like people trying to guess what was going to happen next, and people writing fan fiction and going all crazy. I just loved it because she was always really good at surprising you. I mean, like Deathly Hallows. Like, when she came up with that, I was like, what the heck is this? This is not what I was expecting. Finally, the last book series that I'm going to talk about, you guys, is the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series by Laurel K. Hamilton. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this series, and I'm going to try to explain that as quickly as possible, because I could seriously video rant about this, you guys. I seriously could do that, but we're not going to do that today. So let's talk about why I love this series. So this series is about Anita Blake, who is a vampire hunter. Hello, obviously. So Anita lives in a world where vampires are out of the closet, shall we say. So they live amongst us, everybody knows there's vampires, so it's not like this giant secret that anyone's hiding. Now, in Anita's world, if a vampire does something illegal, like kill someone, then the court will issue an order and a vampire hunter will be sent out to go find this vampire. And that is what Anita does. And Anita is just one of the best written like kick-ass female characters in fiction, and I just feel like enough people don't know about her because she is fantastic. In the vampire community in these books, Anita is known as the Executioner. I mean, like, if that is not badass, people, I don't know what is. These books kind of fall into the paranormal mystery thriller type of genre, and they're just really good. Now, I say all of that to say that's why I love this series. Let me tell you why I don't love it so much. Laurell K. Hamilton is actually still writing books. So as of right now, I think there's over 20 books in this series. I only read the first 9 books. And let me tell you why. And this is the part that I could rant about, so I'm going to try to keep it short. I would say starting in book 10, which was called Narcissus in Chains, all of a sudden, it was like Anita became a different person. So it's like, I've read books 1 through 9, I've got a great grasp of this character, and then all of a sudden, in book 10, it was like, who is this person? Like, it was like, amazing how different it was. One, the author kind of decided to delve off into the erotica zone. So this great kind of mystery paranormal thriller series all of a sudden became about Anita sleeping with lots of people. So she didn't have time to kill vampires because she was too busy having sexy time, basically. So I'm not a fan of erotica, right? So I'm not really interested in reading that. But that wasn't really my big issue. The big issue was that I felt like when she did that, she all of a sudden started having Anita do things that seemed out of character for her. So I just really felt like, in my own opinion, like the writer really betrayed Anita to some degree. And I know that sounds harsh and I don't mean it to, but I totally felt like that. The other thing I'll mention is that I'm not alone in these feelings. Like, if you go to the Amazon page for book number 10, which is called Narcissus in Chains, and you read the reviews and the comments over and over again, you'll see people like freaking out about what happened to Anita. I mean, it was just kind of like day and night. Like, you pick up the new book in your favorite series and all of a sudden you're like, who is this character? This is not the character that I have grown to love. That's what it was like. So one other like hugely positive thing I can say about Laurell K. Hamilton that I miss reading is that she is so good at writing the like final battle scene in her books. In fact, I would say in most of the Anita Blake books I've read, her battle scenes are not like little skimpy, like 1 or 2 chapters. Usually it's like the last third of the book is this battle scene where Anita has managed to get herself into some horrible trouble and she's fighting her way out of it. So, the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series, books 1 through 9 are what I would recommend. Once you get into book 10, things start to get a little crazy. And so I don't do that. But books 1 through 9, I'm telling you guys, I read those books over and over and over and over again. Like, it's almost time for me to reread the series and I'm super excited about that. So those are my top 10 favorite series, but I am always on the lookout for a good series, people. So if there's a series that you love that I did not mention in my top 10, I would love if you would leave that in the comment section below. Maybe even tell me a little bit about it and why you love it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. That's it for me today. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Bye.